Okay, so we're going to start with we're going to talk about the 3 undefined terms, and we actually just talked about those. So there's pictures right over here of the 3 undefined terms, and before I go any further, if you cannot see this very well, I have upgraded seats. If I make this bigger, if I make it bigger than when I'm talking about this, you can't see the picture anymore. You do have the picture in front of you, but I'm just trying to make a video that has both on there. So, okay, so this is the first thing we're talking about, and you look at this picture and you say that is a point. So a what has no dimension, a point has no dimension. We just talked about that, of course, before I started the video, because that was smart. And then from there, this blank, that's where the word point goes. I'm just not going to write it twice. So the answer blank is like over here, but it goes in there. It doesn't matter where you put it. So what represents a point? What about this picture right here is where you know the point is located? What do you see here? Okay, you gotta be louder. What? Come on. A dot, right. A dot represents the point. So that right there, that dot, that is the point. So what is this capital A right above it? What do you think that capital A is? Well, the location is the dot. So what do you think this is? Maybe if you read right here, it will tell you what that is. Point A. That's its name. Its name is A. Point A. We name points with capital letters. Capital letters. If it's not a capital letter, it's not the name of a point. Points are always capital letters. If you see it lowercase, we're not talking about a point. And how do you write, like if I'm talking about a particular point, how do you write it? You write it by writing the word point and putting the letter after it. That's how you write it. So here I'm showing you a picture. I'm describing it with definition, and I'm showing how to write it. So let's look at the next one. Does that look familiar? What is it? That's a line. I know it's a line because a line has arrows at each side, meaning it goes on forever. If it didn't have arrows, it'd be something different. Because it has the 2 arrows, it goes on forever. This is a line. A line has 1 dimension. It only has length. So a line has 1 dimension. It is represented by a line with 2 arrowheads, and it extends without end. So it never ends. But I can't draw it where it never ends, so I put arrows, meaning it never ends. Line L is one way of describing this line. Now this L is a fancy either italics or cursive L, and it is lowercase. So it's either italics or it's cursive, lowercase. That's one way of naming a line. There's like a bunch of other ways. Another way of naming a line. See if I can use some color here. Another way of naming a line is writing the word line and naming it with 2 points, just two, that are on the line. So, line AB. Another way of naming that line is line BA. It does not have to be in a certain order, because lines go all the way forever and ever, so I could go A to B or I could go B to A. They go forever. And then the last one, and this is my favorite, because I don't like writing super long words like line. That's a long word. So because I don't like writing that, we have a symbol, and I'm going to make this bigger, but you guys can probably see it pretty good on your paper. The 2 points it passes through, and then right above it, we literally draw a line with arrows. That means line AB. Or you could reverse the order, and it could be line BA with a little segment above it. Or, not segment, line above it. So right there is 5 different ways of naming just this one line. All right, and then our third figure we're talking about today are called planes. And here's a picture of a plane. So it's a flat surface that extends forever, length and width. I can't draw forever, so we have to give it a stopping point. We just make it look like a parallelogram. If you've never drawn a parallelogram, maybe try to draw one. We're going to have to draw some in our homework tonight. So if you've never drawn one, try to draw one. And then you will see that there are 4 letters. 3 of them have dots. If it has a dot next to the letter, what are those 3? Let's try that again because I'm going to need some participation. If there's a dot next to a letter, what is that? That is a point. So I have 3 points. So what's this M? If we read below, plane M, the M that does not have a point is the name of the plane. No dot. That's the name of the plane. A plane has 2 dimensions. It is represented by a shape that looks like a floor or a wall, but it extends without end, length and width. There's more about planes. Through any 3 points, not on the same line, there is exactly 1 plane. So if I have 3 points that are not on the same line, there is a plane that goes through those. You can use 3 points that are not all on the same line to name a plane. So you will see right over here is a different way of naming this same plane, plane ABC. You could also name it plane BAC or plane CAB. Like you can switch the letters around, but there's so many different possibilities, I'm not going to list all those. Alright, this is how you're naming stuff. We'll practice with that in a moment. A couple additional notes. If you have 2 or more points that are lying on the same line, so here's a line. Here I've got 2 or more points on the same line. Same line, we have a vocabulary word called co-linear. You'll see the word co, which means together, and you also see line in that word. Co-line, same line, collinear. 3 or more points that lie in the same plane, but not in the same line. So 3 points lie in the same plane, or more, get more, but not in the same line are called co-planar. So you see the co, and you'll see part of the word plane, but then it has an AR instead of the ER. Coplanar. Same plane. Alright, and then add to the vocab packet. I'm not going to take time during the video for you to do that. You can go back and do that later. Alright, I want to tell you what's happening in this picture, and you can try to practice drawing some of it, and in your assignment you're actually going to draw some of it. This is a good little space over here to try to practice it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try to practice drawing that plane. I'm going to kind of draw just a parallelogram, which you guys probably have done before in previous courses. And then what do you think the name of this plane is by looking at that picture? What's the name of that plane? What did they name it?
Oh.
Who said R?
Jordan.
Jordan. Why do you think it's called plane R?
Because it's the farthest from the line and doesn't have a point.
Because it does not have a point. That's how we know it's the name. And it's capital. So R is the name of the plane because it doesn't have a point next to it. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to draw the line that is sitting on the plane. There is a line that is totally just laying there on the plane. The line that is laying there on the plane is S, P, T, lowercase m, this one right here. So if I need to draw a line that is laying on the plane, that's what it's going to look like. And then there's the S, there's the P, there's the T, and then there's a lowercase m over there. Now I'm going to change color for this next one just so you can see it better, but you do not have to if you don't want to. We're just practicing drawing. I'm now going to draw the line that is passing through the plane. And I can show you a real life example of this really fast right now. You looking up here? I'll do it under the camera too, but that paper I was using earlier when we were talking about stuff, I'm going to show you, here's my plane, it's like this piece of paper. Here's a line that passes through the plane. See how my pencil is like stabbing this plane? See that? That's a line that passes through a plane. So we got to be able to draw that. So what they've done is they've taken the part of the line that's above the part of the line that's above the plane, and they just make a nice solid line right there. And then the part of the line that's like behind the plane, they have it dashed until you can see it again, and then it's solid again. So we have this dashed portion, meaning that's hidden. That's like behind the plane. The dashed part's behind the plane. And then they've got their points on it. We don't really have to copy all the points. I just really wanted you to see that that is a line that passes through, where the other line is intersecting with the plane. Intersecting, like has the whole line in common. Okay? At any point, if you have questions, I would highly encourage you ask. What we're going to do now is I'm going to get you started on some of these, and then I'm going to do what's called cold calling. Do you know what that means? I'm going to yell out a name and you answer the question, okay? Everybody's involved, so I'll make sure you know what you're doing before I call on you. Here we go. We're going to list 5 points. So I want anybody, I'm not going to cold call you yet, somebody to yell out from this picture a point. Well, you louder, I couldn't understand. V, like Victoria? V? Okay. We don't write V. We write point V. And it has to be capital V. That's how I know it is a point. Now, if I write it and you write it differently on your paper, then you are practicing the wrong way. There's not more than one way of writing these. This is how you write it. Okay. Aaliyah, can you give me another point? Point, did you say T? Okay. Very good. Point T. Rachel, can you give me another point?
Point F.
Yes, point F. I like how you guys are saying the word point with it as well. Hayden L, will you give me another point? I heard point, I could not understand the letter. P, yes, okay. Alright, here's the tricky one. Alex, can you find the last one? That is correct, point Q. Why was point Q a little bit harder? Because it was like not on the plane. But that's okay, it's still a point in the picture. Alright, next. Question B, list 12 other ways. 12 other ways of naming the same line ST. So I'm going to highlight ST so we can see line ST. So if you go just between S and T, that's not a line. The line keeps going, it extends forever. So there are other ways of naming that same line ST. The first way I'm going to name it is instead of writing with a symbol ST, I could write the word line ST. Notice that I do not have the symbol above it if I use the word. One or the other, not both. Also, instead of ST, I could say TS. So maybe I'll write TS with the symbol. Or I could write line TS without the symbol. Yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to do that, like say line,
Totally. Thank you for volunteering that information. You see that fancy little M over there, the lowercase? You can write line and then lowercase m. So that is another way. But there's like 8 other ways. We're missing a few. Before I give you the next answer, does anybody feel brave and think they might know an answer? Oh, Liam. We are not allowed to do M with a symbol. And thank you for asking that, because I know people did that in my last class as well. When it's the lowercase, you will never use a symbol. You will always use the word M. If we're using the symbol, it has to be 2 points. Jordan.
Just SCP.
Without anything above it?
Yeah.
Nope. Actually, that's going to mean something else in geometry. So now look at what I highlighted. Are there any other letters on that same line? Kylie.
line SPP.
Almost. Line SP. Yes. We can't name it with 3 letters. Just 2 letters. So we're going to say, I'll write it in words first. Line SP. Because if I'm doing the line that goes through SP, it's the same line that goes through ST. It's the same line. So now from that one, if I have line SP, let's write SP with symbols. And now I'm going to start cold calling. Derek, can you give me another one?
Line PS symbols.
Perfect. PS with the symbols, and I like how he said symbols, so I knew which one he was talking about. Question? Are you explaining it to him?
No, I was just asking.
Oh. You did? Okay. Zach. Do you have another one?
Line PS.
With the word? Yeah. Line PS. Okay. So there must be 4 more. The 4 more blanks. Demaya, you got one?
You would do line PT.
Line PT. Am I writing words?
Hmm.
Am I writing a word line? Okay. Line PT. Madison. PT with the symbols. And make sure your little symbol has little arrows at the end, because if it doesn't, it means something else that we haven't learned about till tomorrow. Tiffany, you got one for me? Okay, the line symbol with T, then P. And then Hayden Peck. You got another one for me?
The words line TP.
Good. The words line TP. Excellent. You guys are getting it a little bit? Okay. Next. Says list 4 other ways to name line PQ. I'm not going to call on anybody yet, because I want to see if you can figure these out. This is just the same question as B right above it, only now we're talking about PQ. Talking about a different line. So see if you can answer those, and then I'll call on you in just a moment. And remember, I'm your mathlete coach, so as you guys are training, I'm going to be like over here in your face and like correcting you or helping you or saying, good job. So, I don't want to make you nervous or anything. Okay, so that and that are exactly the same. Good. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. All right, Autumn, you got one for me? Line N. Excellent. You saw that little N up there? That is one way of naming that line. Good. And Yesenia. With the words line. PQ, right? Okay. Sophie,
QP
with the symbol above it, QP with the line symbol above it. And Caitlin, with the words. Excellent. Line QP with the words. Good. Next is list 3 other names for plain R. So plain R, we're looking for the R in the picture, which we kind of already looked at. R, does that have a point near it? No, that's the name of the plane. But there's a different way of naming planes, and we saw that in the first page where it says you can name it with 3 points that are sitting on that plane. So if we look carefully, I need 3 points, but also they can't be in a straight line. So if I say SP, what could my third letter be? If I say SP, V. So I'm going to write plane, you have to write the word plane with it, and then SPV. So let's try another one. Plane. I need 3 letters, 3 points, that are not on the same line. Sophie, you had one? VST. Yes, that'll work. VST. VST. And if you were thinking, well, I wasn't going to do VST, I was going to do SVT with the word plane. That's also correct. I'm just not going to list every single combination because there's a lot. Just list the ones that have different letters. And then the third one, plane. And Tyler, do you know the third one, hon? Oh, no. So I need 3 letters that are not on the same line, that are on this plane, but not on the same line. We've already used SPV, these 3. Nope. SP, is R have a dot near it? Has to have a dot or it's not a point. So we've used SVP, we've used SVT. Now is Q on the shaded part? No. There's a third combination. Let's see if Tyler can get it. Tyler. Yeah. No. Tyler. Yes? Tyler. I'm forgetting names. I'm sorry. Did you write down the other 2 that we had? Okay. So we've used these 3. See, I drew a circle around them. Here, I got another color. We've used these 3. SPT, are they on the same line? Can't use them then. They can't be on the same line. PTV? Yes, that'll work. So plane PTV. PTV. Good. Almost done. List 2 points that are collinear with point S. You forget what collinear means, you look at the word. Co and line are in the same word there. Collinear, same line. So with point S, Bella, do you think you can tell me 2 points that are on the same line with point S? Okay, so I'm going to write point P and point T. And then F says list 4 coplanar points. So coplane, same plane, coplane, same plane. So we have to look at this. We need 4 points that are on the same plane. Dilafruz, can you help me out? Same plane, 4 points. Give me 1 point. Point P. So point P is on the shaded surface, right? What other point is on the shaded surface with point P? S? What else? T? What else? T. Got them all. Alright, so point, but we just have to write point each time. Point, what order should she do? I don't remember. P, point, S, point, T, point, V. So they're all on the same surface. So what point is not coplanar? Which point was not on that plane? Q, that one that's like floating out here. Last question. Do not yell out the answer. I want you to try it on your own. True or false? Point M is coplanar with point V. Coplanar. Point M is on the same plane with point V. True or false? And explain. I'm going to give you a second to try on your own. Don't yell out the answer. Unless I call it. Austin, what do you think? So here's the point where, like, you're just waiting to go on. You could copy some of that book tab over there. You're waiting. Show me point M and point B. Show me the one. Are they on the same plane? Derek, what do you think, true or false?
I think it's false. I don't think any of the point is right.
Yeah, you're totally right. It is false. Because M's not a point. Now, if M was a point, the answer would be true, but what is M? M's not a point, it's lowercase. What is M? M is the name of the line. So we can say, oh yeah, they're on the same surface if you don't think about it very much, like very deep. But M is a line. So we say false. M is lowercase. It is not a point. It is a line. So that's why they are not points that are coplanar. Okay, tricky. All right, so what I have for you is I have a worksheet, and we're not going to do any more of this till tomorrow. Just want to show you one thing about the worksheet, and then I'll pass it out, and I'll leave it up here so you can see it too. The worksheet is going to come to you in a packet that's actually 2 days. So it says day 1, and then when you turn to the second page, it says day 2. You don't have to do day 2 yet. And in fact, when I printed them out originally, some of the day 2 stuff is on day 1. So I will keep this up so you can see it when you get your own copy. But number 6, 7, and 9, we are not even going to do those till tomorrow because we didn't learn what rays are yet. So we don't even have to do those 3. On the back of the first page is a good place to start. On the back, you have to draw pictures. So we practiced doing some of it today. You have to draw pictures yourself. So that would be a good place to start when you get there. I'm going to go ahead and pass that out, and I'll keep that paused up there so you can see which ones